Hey, I'm really glad that you're here. Thank you. Just want to extend a warm welcome to you all. Wish you a happy new year. I hope that the year is been off to a good start. I wish you all good health, happiness, and prosperity during the year. For those of you who don't know me, and clearly in this room there's a lot of you that are here for the first time, my name is Marion Gord. I'm a real estate broker. I work with Keller Williams Realty here in Burlington. And I work primarily with folks like you. I help people who are making later in life moves or with estate sales, and I help to ease the stress through that trend. It's a life transition. It's not the real estate that's clearly the real estate piece is important, but it's recognizing what people who are going through transition later in life are going through, and the challenges and the difficulties and the differences between those moves and perhaps a move up type of transaction. That's the reason we have this series, is because of people that I've worked with, and I saw that there was a huge need in our community, a big gap, and I had the opportunity to initiate a series like this, and hence we did in June 2023. I'm happy to say this is our 33rd session, and we've been clearly filling the room, not quite to this capacity every time, but clearly there's a need for stuff like this, and I'm committed to continuing to offer these sessions to you if you keep coming, so let's keep it going. These sessions wouldn't be possible without the support and guidance of the educational partners who are with us today, and they've all given up their seats for you, so it goes to show you what kind of crew we have. They're going to, I don't know where they're going to go, you're going to sit cross-legged on the floor or something, but nobody wore a skirt other than me. But I just very quickly, I wanted to thank them all for their support. I'm going to let them give you a 2-second elevator pitch, because I don't want to, there's lots of us here today, and I don't want to taste all of our time with this, because we want to get on to our speaker for the day. So let's just start on the side with Sarah.
Good afternoon, my name is Sarah Sunnix. I'm a funeral director with Smith's Funeral Home, and I specialize in pre-planning, that's getting things done ahead, and I also specialize with what we call aftercare, which is helping executors with checklists, CBP benefits, and things like that. I have a lot of information that I want to give to people, and you can call the funeral home and sit down with me free of charge, just to give you all your information. So, Sarah Sunnix from Smith's.
Hello everyone, my name is Meredith Joachim. I'm from Hearing Well Matters. I'm a hearing instrument specialist. We're just up around the corner on Maple Avenue. So anything to do with your ears, ear wax, hearing aids, ear plugs, I am happy to help. I've got tons of information on tinnitus and hearing health and cognitive health. So if you have any questions to do with your ears, please do come say hello.
Hi everyone, my name is Councillor Lisa Kearns, and I represent the City of Burlington. I'm the downtown local councillor. I like to say that my ward is from the lake to the highway, and if you've got to either mall, you've gone too far, so Grove-Pine and Maple. I do pre-planning. We're planning out to 2050 for your city, and I also listen to our residents. So who knows what other gifts we'll see down the line. It's an honor to be here today. I think I'm a big believer in meeting people where they are, and this is a great community event that is helping people learn things in a way that works for them. And I love the fact that you're doing something that's providing trusted resources. I also sit on the Halton Police Board, and I know that community safety is a huge priority, and there are people out there that may not have your best interests in mind. And having a trusted group like this wrapping around you is one of the amazing reasons why Burlington is such a great city.
I'm Elizabeth. I'm a registered nurse and clinical leader with Bayshore Home Health. We provide home care services, but not only caregivers, PSWs, we also have a local nurse that oversees all your care and is available for any health concerns. We have physiotherapists, occupational therapists, pharmacy services, and we've recently been expanding our services with the goal to be your one-stop shop for aging in place. So aside from all those healthcare type services, we also have someone to do your snow removal, cut your grass, handyman services. We want to be that one number you can call and get whatever support you need at home. So happy to chat about home care in general if you have any questions.
Hello, my name is Nicola, and I'm here with Chartwell Lakeshore Retirement Residence. Sorry. We have 2 properties in Burlington, and we do offer different levels of care, so starting at independent living, assisted living, and memory care. So just wanted to extend an invitation to everybody today that we do have an upcoming open house this week on Friday and Saturday, and it's a drop-in, so you can come anytime between 10 and 4 p.m., and just a nice way to come in and see what we're all about.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Judy Rickey. I'm the owner and head professional organizer of Clutter Relief Services, and we specialize in helping seniors and their families downsize, clear estates, and just generally declutter, right-size their homes. And if you have that issue, you can come and talk to me. Talk to me after the talk. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeanette Bach, and I'm with Fluid Senior Transitions. So I'm an elder care planner, and I help in crisis situations in the healthcare system, so navigating the healthcare system. I also help you age in place at home, help you to plan ahead and do an aging plan, which helps you to figure out where your journey might go and make some decisions. You bring future into today and make some decisions so you can stay out of a crisis. So that's me.
Hello, my name is Kelly. This is my colleague Pam. Together and along with another colleague Jennifer, we are compassionate care collaborators. We are end-of-life doula support givers. So anything to do with end-of-life issues. If you want more information, we have tons of brochures and information up here that you can come and check out at the end of the session.
Hi, I'm Peter Curtis. Sorry I lost my voice, but I'm a paralegal and notary public in Guelph, and I do medical law, so I help people with medical issues become eligible for tax credits that you use on your income tax to lower the amount of income tax you have to pay, which is retroactive for 10 years, and which gives you access to other programs. So Peter Curtis from Guelph.
Hi, I'm Lori Meyer. I'm from Parkland and Castor. We are a retirement community that offers a full continuum of care, an age-in-place community from retirement to straight through to supportive lifestyle. Our fully independent lifestyle building, Griffin Hall, is opening in March, and all of our residents are starting to move in. And so we have availability still, and I hope you will also please join us on Wednesday. We have Wednesday open houses from 1 to 5 for anybody who's interested in taking a look at what we have to offer. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Carrie Abma, and I'm an independent estate consultant. A lot of people don't know what that is. I'll try to explain it really quickly. So I've been administering estates for 13 years, and in January of 2025, after working in the corporate world and the tech world, I decided to go into business for myself. So I'll give you a few client scenarios so you can kind of get an idea of what I do. I have Virginia, who has found herself being an executor at age 80 for her brother, and she just couldn't imagine taking that on. So she hired me as her agent for executor, and I was able to do a lot of the work for her. I have Susan and John, who are in their mid-60s. They've got an adult daughter with mental health challenges and a minor grandson with disabilities, and they're starting to think about what will happen when they're no longer around. So I'm helping them organize their estate to make sure that their loved ones are properly cared for. And finally, I have Jean, who is 82 and has no family to speak of in Canada. All of her relatives are in Germany, and she needs someone to help her when she gets to that point. So she's appointing me as her attorney for property and personal care, as well as executor for when she passes away. If you want to learn more about anything that I do, I'm up here. I've got some materials, and I'd love to speak with you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kim Rutledge, and I am a sales consultant for Vistamere Retirement Residence in South Oakville. We are an independent retirement home that offers supportive living as well, and we range anywhere from a standard studio to a 2-bedroom. And I'm here today just to chat with you and offer any information. As a sales consultant, one of our goals is to help families navigate through the decision making and how to come to terms with when to make a move, especially in a crisis situation. And today I've brought our January calendar because did you know you did not have to be a resident living in a retirement home to be participating? So our calendars are a monthly calendar of activities, exercises, and events that are going on in the home where you can come and join us at any time. So our calendars are emailed out to the community and you can come and join us and get a chance to meet our residents living with us and our staff. So again, Kim at Vista Bear.
Good afternoon, my name is Jerry Sia. I am the owner of Quality Care Burlington here. We just provide services like home care, personal care, and also now any kind of household assistance. Thank you.
Thanks very much, everyone. And just also we have, not with us today, Neela White. She's with Raymond James, the Blue Wing Advisory Group with Raymond James, clearly a financial advisor, wealth advisor, and a background in gerontology, and also Paul Cuttajar from a company called Senior Care Access. You have handouts on with you. Everyone has got the contact information, a little bit of history or background about what these folks do. Please don't take it as we're here to sell you. We are here to be your first line of defense. So if any situation arises where you think that you might need some services, please think of us first, because if we don't have the ability to help you, we're certainly among us all will able to point you in the right direction. So thank you again, everyone. I also want to thank Ida and Lisa. They're on my backroom people and help me monthly to get these things organized. I appreciate that. So we had a busy day today, and I know I'm going to say it now. We'll probably be here beyond 3 o'clock just because we've got such a full house and a full agenda. But I just also wanted to let you know that I've got Sarah McKenzie here. Sarah is my virtual assistant, but she's here in person today, so she's going to be hanging around and taking some pictures. If you don't want your picture taken, just be sure you let her know. And also Halton News is here, so they're capturing this. We're honored that they're going to be doing a news clip on us, so just bear with us, and our videographer is going to be here capturing some shots. For those who braved the weather in December and came out, although the weatherman wasn't on our side, we were still able to gather. I did a great job collecting food, non-perishable items for the Burlington Food Bank. Thank you to everyone who was here that month, and then together we generated 277 pounds of items, so that was much appreciated. I'll just quickly talk about 100 Women Who Care. It's a pitch from it's an organization that I founded. If there are women in the room who are looking for in ways to give back to the community, please do check us out. We'll be starting our 2026 season in February. You can look at 100womenwhocareburlington.com or speak with me after. Quickly, just a few things around. Please do turn your phones off or silent. Parking. So you've been asked to pay $3 for parking when you come in. I just need to give you a heads up that next month they're going to be charging us $5 a head, a car. So just be forewarned, next month is $5. It's on the honor system. When you come in, you don't need to pay the meter, just pay the $5 at the door, please. You have some notepads, you have pens, you have handouts. Please keep your take down your questions, and we will have a Q&A at the end of the session. All right, finally, we're here where we're supposed to be. And the reason you're here. So today we're fortunate to have with us Dave Oswald from Forensic Restitution, a company called Forensic Restitution. He's a chartered professional accountant and certified fraud examiner with more than 25 years of experience investigating, preventing complex financial crimes. He's the principal of Forensic Restitution and leads a multidisciplinary team specializing in forensic accounting, computer forensics, and data analytics. His work has been instrumental in uncovering multi-million-dollar frauds across industries, including construction, government, transportation, and professional services. He's conducted forensic investigations for organizations such as Anglo Gold Ashanti, Metrolinx, and numerous municipalities and First Nations. He's a respected educator and speaker, and frequently delivers presentations on fraud prevention, business interruption insurance, and cyber risk management to professionals and associations, insurers, and legal audiences across Canada. His philosophy is simple: fraud hurts, but the right investigation and awareness can stop it before it starts. So we're fortunate to have Dave here today. I'm sure we're all going to come away with lots of tips and tricks, and I just ask you to help me join me in welcoming Dave.
Okay. So none of you have met me before. I don't think I know anybody in the room. But does anybody trust me enough to give me $20? I have a taker.
No. Can you put the mic near your mouth?
Sorry, I can't get through. Can you come up and give it to me, please? Thank you very much. I'll invest it well for you. Now, what you just see, you thought was a joke, but it isn't. It's the start of a process, and we're going to teach you that process as we go through. So let me just work out how this one works. Nope, wrong way, right way. Okay, so we're going to do a few things here. We're going to talk about romance scams, we're going to talk about abuse of power of attorneys, identity theft, door-to-door scams, phone scams, computer scams, credit card scams, government scams,
Can you
and anything else.
Can you put the mic close to your mouth, please?
Okay, sorry, is that any better?
Yes, please.
I hate talking with these. I wish the lapel would work.
No.
I like using my hands. It makes life difficult. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a romance scam that actually took place. Now, before any of you think that this person is stupid, she's not. She's an educated, she's an accountant by profession. Her name's not Barbara, but I'm going to call her Barbara for the point of this presentation. She was around about 56 when she was widowed, and she met a guy online not long after that. The guy's name was Alexander Barton. That's a real fraudulent name he gave her, but it's obviously also not his real name. They met online, the relationship started, lots of phone calls back and forward, lots of chats late into the night, telling each other all of their personal secrets. And soon, he started professing his love for Barbara. So what happened? So that's a picture of Alexander and his daughter, in inverted commas. Because it's not his daughter, it looks more by the body language to be his girlfriend to be. But this is what the man was supposedly looking like. So how did the scam start? Well, he was supposedly living in Victoria, in BC. She was living in Etobicoke, just on the road from us. And she sat there and she went, and he said to her he's going to come and meet her in person, and he decided but before he did, he's going to fly to South Africa for a holiday. So he flew down south to South Africa, and when he was there, he sent her a note to say, hey, listen, I've been robbed in my hotel room on the way from the airport to the hotel. And he sent her a newspaper clip from a Johannesburg newspaper showing that a tourist, not mentioned of course, had been robbed on the way from the airport to the hotel room. He then turned around to her and said, my darling, please, you've got to give me, if you could just loan me some money. They've got my passport, my bank cards, everything. I've got no money. I need to get on with, I'd like to finish my holiday. I've flown all the way here. And if you could just lend me $11,000.
Oh.
And I'll give it back to you as soon as I get back to Canada. And by the way, I love you. So Barbara did exactly that. She transferred $11,000 into his account and told him that she loved him. absolutely normal behavior, right? So what actually happened after that? Well, he then decided to get himself arrested. So this is actually the newspaper clipping that was sent to her. Tourists dropped on their way to her hotel by Times Live, and these are the articles that were kind of sent to her as the basis for, in order to make her there. Then poor Alexander got arrested. He'd done nothing wrong, but he got arrested. And he told her that they're going to lock him up in jail, and South African jails are really bad, which they are. I mean, he wasn't lying about that part. But he was going to get raped and everything else in jail if they didn't pay a bribe to get him out. And the bribe was $100,000, R1,000,000 to get him out. She paid. So he then went around and he decided that, oh, by the way, in the letter to Barbara, he told her that he loved her. On the way through, he then went back to England.
Oh my gosh.
And guess what? He gets arrested in England. This guy's got the worst luck in the world. And so what happened? He asked her to send him more money, which she did. She sent him a bunch more money. Now, again, he told her that he loved her, and she continued to pay. He asked her for more money, and she continued to pay. And eventually, she had paid $600,000. This is the type of email, and I haven't made these emails up. These are the actual emails. The only thing I've done is change the names of the people involved. Not Alexander Barton, I've left him as he was. So she then decided that she was really worried about him, and he said, "No, but please send me some more money. I really don't want to ask for more money from you because you did so much for me already. But if you just give me a little bit more," which she did. And then finally she started working out that this was a scam that she'd been involved in. And so what happened is she talked to Alexander, and Alexander said to her, "But there's a lawyer here who can help you." No, Alexander's telling her about this lawyer. And the lawyer gets hold of her and says, "Look, I've been trying to get hold of you. Sorry, it didn't seem to go through, but we've got this guy in court now. He's admitted that he's stolen this money from you, and the UK government is going to pay you back your money. All you have to do is pay my legal fee of £75,000. Which he then did. And you can see that there's a very nice, very legal looking document there with a nice red stamp on the bottom, just to make sure that it's legal. And a Royal Court of Justice from the UK. There's no such thing as a Royal Court of Justice in the UK. Hey, who cares? And this basically says that she's going to get paid back, and there's the wire transfer coming into her account. Fantastic. Except it was all a fraud. And she lost $680,000 in total. Now, you might think that's an isolated incident and what I'm telling you is rubbish, but I will tell you now that I'm busy with a case as we speak where a very intelligent lady is sitting and she has departed with $2 million in loans, in inverted commas, to a guy who, over a period of 8 years. This is a long con, it is not a short con. And this guy's been taking her for around about $200,000 a year for the last 8 years. Just a little bit more, 250, 300,000. We are trying to educate her that she is being stolen from. And she refuses to listen. I'm a bad person because I just don't want her to have love in her life. And I'm not being flippant about it. And this is why these frauds actually work. Is because A, the fraudster starts isolating you. So you'll start chatting to a young girl online, 30, 40, 50, whatever. And she will start talking to you the whole time. She'll try and bring you in, try and get you away from your family, from other friends. And when somebody notices that something's not right and says to you, hey James, what are you doing? No, you just don't want me to be happy. I'm in love. You're just jealous of me. And this is the challenge and the hurdle that we have to break down in order to stop these people from becoming victims of fraud. And if you think it couldn't happen to you, it could happen to any one of you. The people I deal with aren't stupid. You don't make $2 million by being dumb. You make it, you lose control to another person, and that's what costs you at the end of the day. So, I've just got some good news for you. I've got your money, and there's another $20. Thank you for trusting me. Now, aren't you all sorry that you didn't trust me? I mean, really, come on. That's got to be the easiest $20 you've ever made in your life. Am I right? Right on. And all of you thought I was a crook. Okay, so eventually what happened is it went through, just to show you how bad this was, she'd taken money from her brother, she'd sold her house, and everything that she had become part of, had been sent to this guy. And she is now unfortunately living in Canada with no money. It's not a good place to be. And the worst part about this, the other part, sorry, let me just, is that when you read through the emails, he couldn't even do them properly. I mean, he said that he was flying from the UK to Vancouver, but he forgot that there was a time difference between the two. But he forgot there's an 8-hour time difference, so he's going to leave at 12:45, so he'd be in Vancouver at 9:45. And she has never met the guy. And that's it. So there's some points that you have to remember about this. Never ever send money to anybody you have not met in person. That is kind of number one. However, even if you met somebody in person, don't send them money. Okay, I'll tell you a little story, another little story, just because you might think I'm bashing females here, and I'm not. I'm bashing anybody. We had a guy who came up to us. He was happily married, 60-odd years old, 62, somewhere around there. Owned 3 companies, and he employed a receptionist, or an executive assistant. She was about 35 years old, and we don't know who seduced who, but one of them seduced the other one. He ended up divorcing his wife and going to live with this young lady. And one night, probably after some really good sex, she said to him, listen, I've got an investment. Again, it happened to be in South Africa. So maybe when somebody says South Africa, just think it's wrong. But she had a really good investment, and he invested $10 million with it. He went away on a business trip for a few days. He came back after a few days, and the house had been cleaned. I don't mean it had been cleaned, I mean it had been cleaned. Every cup, every saucer, every plate had been washed. The floors had been steam cleaned. Everything had gone. His computer had been all images of her had been taken off his computer, off his iPhone and iCloud account. Every trace that she ever existed disappeared in those 3 days. To the extent that there was not even any DNA that could be found in the house belonging to her. And that was a $10 million fraud. Everything about her was a fake. There's nothing ever real about her, not her name, not her age, nothing. And why I'm telling you this is that it's just so easy to get involved in these schemes. And people are willing to spend a lot of money to get hold of your money. That particular scheme probably cost the fraudsters around about $500,000 to run, that they were running on spec. Because at any time that fraud could have fallen apart. He might not have been seduced by her. He might not have left his wife. He might not have moved in with her. He might not have agreed to the $10 million investment. There's a lot that could have gone wrong, but they were willing to pay that amount of money because they thought, you know what? It's going to work in the long run. So yeah, and if you think that and if you work it back, if you have a look at Barbara, the $680,000 that she lost, we calculated out that the hourly rate that the guy had been paid for all of his chatting with Barbara was around about $300 an hour. And she probably wasn't the only girl that he was talking to at the time. So yeah, if ever you think that something's wrong with one of your friends, talk up and don't take no for an answer. Don't sit there and let other people drive the narrative. Get other friends involved in order to talk to people, to say that, to help them. We had a lady from Chartwell House actually, who had a good friend who was asked by Brad Pitt to send her money. And she did. Okay, has anybody got $40 to give me? You only have one taker a day. Thank you very much, sir. You guys don't trust anybody, do you? So that's barracuda hunting. That was the second case that we talked about. And this is actually the real life video of Rosa, who was one of the fraudsters that we dealt with. And a very nice young girl, but unfortunately she's a fraudster. It was actually quite funny, the song that she put behind this. I thought it was great. Okay, so one of the things you'll see constantly with all of these is that you get people will always give you convinces in order to convince you that what they're telling you is actually the truth. And those convinces are the ones which are there in order to make you believe. So in this particular case, we've changed the name. Campbell Dean was going to get $2.5 million of funds transferred to him by the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Washington, D.C. Wasn't that nice of them? I'll give you one clue. He never got the money. And this girl even went as far as to give him a marriage certificate, showing that they were actually married. He hadn't even met her yet, he'd only met her over online. But it is a marriage certificate to Rosa Benham. Now, one of the things you will see quite often is, as we go through convinces, is this, that you have a Supreme Court of Texas and you have a legal letter, guy's thing saying that he's attorney and counselor at law, And it all looks very, very official. Until we did a search online and we found out the actual one is here. And the way you can tell it's the same, and unfortunately it's a bit small to read, but the number on here and the number on here are identical. So what they've done is they've taken something that had been posted online by a lawyer and they just turned around and changed it. Again, the same thing, changed over, used a different person, just took out the Joseph Michael and put in the other lawyer. And these are the type of convinces that are used in order to get you to part with your money. Now, I'm actually going to get back to pig butchering a little bit later. And what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about power of attorney. Now, there's different stages of your life where you're going to require a power of attorney. So it could be you're going into hospital to have an operation and you're going to be in hospital for 4 to 6 weeks. And you're not going to be able to function during that period, and therefore you give power of attorney to somebody, and when you come out of hospital, the power of attorney reverses. You also have a power of attorney where, at a particular instance, let's say you become incapacitated, the power of attorney automatically kicks in, and that then kicks in for the rest of your life. And that power of attorney then gives somebody control over your finances, over your health, over your medical treatments, and away they go. And then you have another situation where you have a power of attorney which is granted while you're still capable. And you can say, no, I just want somebody to help me out so that I'm not caught by a romance scam. Or I'm not, I don't make a foolish decision with my money. I don't accidentally pay somebody $100,000 when I meant to pay them $10,000. Stupid things happen. And so those are the different types of POAs that you get. But the problem with POAs is that they give people the overall control of your finances. Now there are some breaks on what a power of attorney can do, but not many. And we've had cases where power of attorney has been given to a son, and he's gone and spent money on his business, and he blew some of it up his nose, and eventually his mom was bankrupt. And he never meant to do it. It was just, he went into a business venture that was going to make him millions. And unfortunately, it never made him millions. And so this is the type of thing that goes on the whole time. So when you're giving a POA, make sure that you are very careful who you give it to. You want to give it to somebody, and just remember, your children might not love you quite as much as you think they do. If you've got any doubts, rather have 2 POAs. That any amount over a certain value has to be signed for by both people. That one person cannot control your finances completely, or that one person cannot make those sort of decisions. So a second signatory on any check over $5,000, or any transfer over $5,000. That type of thing is really helpful in curtailing fraud. Now, there's a few things that happen with POAs. One of them is being forced to sign a POA. Hey, Mom, what are you doing? You've got to sign a POA now. You're not functioning properly. Come on. Not really nice. Hard pressure. You've got to do it now. You're not well. Come on, look, you dropped a plate the other day. Therefore, you've got to sign over your financial estate to me. Not really great. Using the donor assets for the benefit of anybody but the donor. Oh, my mom's come to live with us, so because she's no longer capable of looking after herself, and I'm now her POA. So we're going to put in a lift into an escalator, sorry, not an escalator, an elevator into our home, so that she can get up and down, which would be a fair expense. But while we're doing that, we're also going to put a new kitchen in, we're going to put a new bathroom in, and we're going to put a new, and away you go, and you can see where I'm going to with this. So they're using a lot of her money in order to improve the quality of their home. And then we've also had cases where the person who, my very first case actually in forensics was an old man who ran a motor dealership. And his son decided he just wanted to take his inheritance early. And he got into the bank account and he managed to rip his father off to the tune of about $1 million over a 2-year period. That one had a particularly sad ending to it because the father pulled out a power cord from a wall and the power cord broke, and it happened to be connected to a 220 volt power cord, and he ended up electrocuting himself and dying. So the son ended up getting his inheritance anyway. Sad, but these are the things that happen. So please, always be careful going forward that while a POA is a necessity, and I'm not slamming them, be really cognizant of who you give it to. And up until the time that you can't do anything anymore, continue to keep track of that POA. Thank you, sir. And then none of you would give me money again. I mean, really. It's got to be the easiest money that I've ever given away, and nobody wants to take my money. I mean, really, come on. Hello. So keep track of what's going through your bank accounts. Make sure that, don't just say, okay, well, my son's now looking after my finances, so I can just sit back and relax. You still need to, while you can, have a look to see what's going on in your accounts and question if anything looks wrong. And POAs are known as a license to steal, by the way. So who commits the fraud? It's normally a trusted individual, and this is the sad part about POA fraud, because it's somebody that you trust that's breaking that trust. It's a reportable offense, and there are ways that you can recover money by approaching courts. But again, it's a really hard process. It's easier. Prevention is always easier than the cure. Stay involved, check your statements, or ask your PA to be with you. Require more than one signature for any major transactions. And also be wary of somebody who befriends you to help you. There's a lot of people who don't have kids, who don't have somebody that they can give a POA to. And it's amazing how many nice neighbors you suddenly have. Who are willing to help you out in those sort of circumstances. Okay, just one thing quickly on identity fraud. This is something that happens fairly often, unfortunately. It's not as easy as it sounds, which is the good news. The bad news is it does happen. What do you need to create identity fraud? Well, the first thing is you need a SIN number, pretty easy to get. You need an address, you need a birth date, you need some form of, you need a utility bill or something like that. And from there you can go ahead and you can make yourself into another person. It's illegal, obviously, and if somebody does take money out with identity theft, you are not on the hook for the money. The problem is that the bank will try and claim it back from you. So you're into a battle which you don't really need to be in. How do you stop identity fraud? There's plenty of places where you can go and check your credit rating online. And that will show you anybody who's applied for anything in your name. And that's really handy. So Credit Karma is one of them. You can go on to, it's free, it doesn't affect your credit score. and you can go and you can simply type in your name and your SIN number, and it will give you every single transaction of somebody who's had a look at your account or has tried to get finances out from your account. So whether it's looking at a house, looking at a car, whatever it happens to be.
Sorry to interrupt you, I'm just feeling that right now. I've got my credit score from Equifax.
Yeah.
I looked at it and it's got my husband's SIN number. So
Mhm.
I called them, they said that I need a copy. I went to Service Canada, I did what I needed to do there. Is there a possibility that Equifax has my SIN number on his credit score and they have his on mine? That's what I'm dealing with right now.
They shouldn't have, but anything's possible. Okay, so real estate scams, fraudsters steal or transfer ownership of your property without your knowledge of or consent, often by signing documents on your behalf and selling. If you're out of your house for any extended period of time, this is something which is really easy to do, unfortunately. I go and I get a friendly locksmith to come and open your house for me because I notice that nobody's shoveled your driveway for the last 3 months and there's plenty of snow built up outside. I then go and put your house on the market and I sell it for you. The only problem is the funds never go into your bank account. Hey, but that's not a problem, is it? Again, really, really difficult to then reverse the transaction when you come back from your overseas vacation where you've been for the last 6 months and you suddenly find that you've got problems with the house being sold. You might also find this happens with a POA, that they suddenly decide they're going to sell the house for you without asking you. So that's a really difficult one. Title theft is using forged documents in order to say that they're the person who's on title and then get it transferred into their name. Mortgage fraud is registering a mortgage with a bank. This is where Equifax or something like, or Credit Karma really does come into concern. Have a look and see that somebody hasn't tried to put a mortgage on your house for you without you knowing. Power of attorney abuse, we've talked lots about, and fake real estate listings. Now, this one's more of a problem where they'll list a house for sale, ask you for a deposit, and then once you've got the deposit, away they go. Or you want to go on holiday and you see a nice house advertised and you put down the $10,000 deposit that they ask for, and when you arrive at your destination, the property, you knock on the door and the owner comes and says, "Hi, what are you doing here?" "Oh, well, I'm living here for the next 2 weeks." "No, you're not." And unfortunately, that happens quite often. So look for unfamiliar mortgage or lien registered to your property, missing property tax or utility bills, because people will want to take those bills in order to work with them. And then sudden legal notices or bank communications about loans that you never applied for. Yeah, wrong one. So there's a few things that you can do. You can register for a title monitoring service. I don't think it costs very much, it's fairly easy. Review property tax and mortgage statements regularly, making sure that nobody else is taking money out of your account. Avoid giving out copies of your ID or property documents unnecessarily. You have to in certain circumstances, but don't just give them out arbitrarily. Be cautious of power of attorneys, we talked a lot about that obviously, and then consider title insurance. And title insurance will allow you to, the insurance company will then pay for the fight rather than you paying for the fight. So title fraud, while it is mainly empty homes that it targets, it also targets homes that are not actually monitored. So you might be living there and you might find that your house has quietly been sold from under your feet. Door-to-door scams. Happens all the time. Knock, knock, can I help you? Yeah, sure. I've got this wonderful vacuum cleaner that does such a great job. Two people coming in. While one of them is busy showing you how the vacuum cleaner works, the other one says, sorry, would you mind, I just need to use the bathroom. The other guy makes sure that you're actively involved in the demonstration of whatever the product is that they've decided to bring around, while the partner goes rifling through your bedroom looking for jewelry, whatever they can find. Happens on a regular occurrence, unfortunately. And the other one is it's an interesting fraud because you actually end up with a product at the end of the day. But you know, here's a vacuum cleaner that costs $200 and it works brilliantly, and they'll show you it works, and but you've got to buy it today, sir, because if you don't buy it today, the price is going to be $400 tomorrow, and ma'am, I can see it in your eyes, you're going to take this one. And away you go, and you say, okay, that is your high pressure sale. You then buy it because this deal's only going to last for today. And of course, at the end of today, you go and you have a look at the thing and you see it listed in your local shop for $50. And that's not actually a fraud. That's the problem. This seems to have slowed down, thank goodness. Haven't had many of these in recent times. Like, I keep on getting a trip to Mexico, but I'm not getting many of the local guys talking to me. CRA used to phone me once a week at least. Fortunately, they've stopped doing that now. But again, when you receive a phone call, be really careful of the information that you give out. If a bank phones you, they're not going to ask you for your PIN number. They're not going to ask you for your credit card or your debit card number. That's just things that they will not ask you for. As soon as somebody does, be really careful. You don't want to get involved in that. You want to be careful about a bail request. Now, how many of you here have grandchildren? Just about everyone. How many of you have set up a safe word? Hardly anyone. Why? A safe word.
Oh, I have.
Okay. The easiest thing you can do to avoid this, so let me paint the picture for you, and this is really scary, especially in the light of AI. You receive a FaceTime phone request from your grandson who you know has just gone to Mexico on holiday. Hi, Gran. I've just been locked up. They said that if I don't pay $10,000 tonight, I'm going to be in jail for the weekend, and these jails here are not nice. It sounds like your grandson. It looks like your grandson. So what do? They've told me you can pay by Bitcoin, Mom. So if you just go down to the Hasty Mark down the road, with $10,000, you can put it in, and it will be transferred to them immediately, and I'll be out of it. It looks and sounds exactly like your grandson. So what do? You get in the car, you go and you take $10,000 and you put it into their account. Why? Because you haven't asked for a safe word. So immediately you get a call like that. The first thing you say is, hey darling, what's the safe word? I forgot, Gran. Okay, bye-bye. It's as simple as that. And it's something you need to, it's not just your grandchildren, it's your children as well. You need to drill this into them that you need a safe word as a family. That is something arbitrary, avocado, whatever, chili, I don't know. Something that you'll remember, but something that that at the end of the day, if somebody is asking for something, they won't guess it easily. So don't use what is your name for me, or what is our dog's name, or something like that. Use something which is completely left field that nobody would guess is the safe word that you're using. That is really, really important. And then of course there's the inheritance from a long lost relative, or winnings from a lottery that you never took part in. They're all part of the same scam. Oh, you've got this relative who died in London. They've left you $100,000. Unfortunately, in order to transfer the money across to Canada, we're going to need $5,000 from you. As soon as you pay, we'll be able to transfer those funds to you. No, you're not getting to $100,000. You're going to lose $5,000. But again, it makes it look too good to be true. Telemarketers work, and they have done for years. And the way they work, I'm busy doing a whole thing about this on our website, where we actually talk about different types of scams. So if any of you are interested, it's worthwhile going and having a look and seeing what we're talking about. But we're busy at the moment with how we do NLP or hypnosis in order to make you compliant to what we want you to do. So I can hypnotize you and I can't make you do something against your wishes completely, but I can make you more compliant with what I'm thinking of. I can also use language in order to make you more accepting of what I do. You do agree with me, don't you, sir? Of course you do. What would there not to agree with me about it? Again, what I'm doing is I'm using language to make you constantly think that what I'm saying is correct. So when I tell you, give me $10,000, you're going, oh, okay. He's okay. Free holidays is another one. Hey, you know, you're gonna get this wonderful holiday down in Mexico. It's only going to cost you $1,000, and we're going to throw in a free cruise for you, and we're going to do this for you. And at the end of the day, what they're banking on is that you will just give them the money, and then when you try and take it up, obviously it goes all wrong. And they'll actually use proper websites as well in order to convince you. One of the things that we see quite often happening is that you go surfing on a site and all of a sudden there's this bang, 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 bang. Your computer has been compromised. Please phone this number. Hell, what do I do now? Beep, beep. And then all the time this banging is going on in the background. Oh, by anyway, any chance any of you want to invest $100 with me now? I'm all in, Dave. You're all in. God, none of you guys trust me. Why? Thank you very much.
You trust me? Give me $100?
Okay, so what happens is that they then send you directions to a website where they ask you to open up a method. It's normally called OpenDesk, which allows them then to get onto your computer. They're then able to put a keylog onto your computer, which would then allow them, if you do online banking, to get your password and your banking codes and all of that, and they would then be able to steal all of your money. They might redirect you to sites which maybe makes you embarrassed. They'll redirect you to a porn site. They'll redirect you to a child porn site, even worse. And they'll do that in order to make sure that you want to be compliant and to take off this horrible material from your computer. But honestly, by getting them to help you, you're going to find yourselves in an even worse position. Phishing attacks are something which happens broadly across the market. Your credit card starting in 4976 has been compromised. They always use the starting 4 digits, please note. Why? Because every BMO card starts with 4976. Every CIBC card starts with 5324, whatever it happens to be. And so you look at your credit card and go, oh my God, it's right. My credit card starts with us. It's not. It's everybody in that range that they do. So that's what they call a phishing attack. Because that allows them to throw a net over a huge amount of people and to draw them in. A spear phishing attack is something different. That's where somebody looks at your social profile and does a bit of homework about you and says, okay, I now see a hook where I can get my teeth into this person. And they will then send you a very specific email. Hi Mom, we're just busy with the basement renovations and I just need to borrow $10,000 from you. Sorry to do this, but we ran a little bit short on money and we've just had this little problem that we need to fix. It comes from what looks like your daughter's dress and you end up paying. Now how have they worked that out? They've gone onto social media and they've seen that your daughter's renovating her bedroom or bathroom or whatever, and she's posted photographs of it, so they know what's happening. They also know her name, they know that you're her mother, you know, and they might even have managed to intercept a couple of the emails so that they can frame it in the right terminology. And that's where it really gets scary. So what do you do? In a case like that, pick up the phone and phone your daughter. Actually talk to the person and say, hi darling, do you really need this $10,000? If she does, great. If she says, hey Mom, what the hell are you talking about? You know that you've been part of a spear phishing attack. And then there's these brilliant scams that come out. I can make you look 10 years younger just by rubbing this cream on your face. Beautiful moisturizing cream. It comes in this glossy little tub. It looks really good. And you know what? You don't have to pay anything for it. All you do is you pay the shipping, which is only $3.99. The product's worth $150 for this little magic vial. So you're thinking $3.99 and getting $150 worth of product? Yeah, that sounds like a bargain. You put down your credit card. 2 weeks later, this tiny little vial arrives. Put some on. Oh no, skin feels so much better. It will do because it's moisturizer. So anyway, what happens there is that you've done what all of us do. You've read the terms and conditions. Why are you all laughing? You all read the terms and conditions, don't you? Okay, because part of what happens in those terms and conditions is they say, every 2 weeks we will send you a vial of this facial cream at a cost of $150. And you can cancel, but if we've already shipped the product, you're liable for that. And you will not sue us, and you will not take part in any class action, and you will not, and so it goes on and on and on. And it really is a lot of, this is actually one of them. Order now, your risk-free trial. And what actually happens here is when you phone up, when you try and cancel, when you realize the 150's gone off your account, you can't get through. Or you get through and they're on the phone for you for an hour and a half and the call suddenly drops. And by that time you're infuriated and I'm not phoning back. Oh, damn it, I'll phone them tomorrow. And tomorrow of course never comes and the next thing you know you've been taken for 5 or 6 months of $150 a month. The last time we actually tested the cream in those little containers, I don't know if you know that you can go to Shoppers and you can buy like a 55-gallon drum for $20. It was that face cream exact formula that was in these tiny little vials that they wanted to charge $150 for. So I've just put up there, you can read quickly that they say, look, none of this is tested. Our product actually doesn't do anything, but you know what? Thanks for buying it from us anyway. Yes, ma'am.
Could you just stop your payment, like the credit card payment?
The problem is that they've got a signature from you saying that you will pay that. So when you try and, when you phone your bank and say, I never subscribed to this, they give them the subscription. So sorry, the question there, just in case anybody didn't hear, is can't you just phone your credit cards company and get them to reverse the statement? And the answer is no. Because you've signed and they've got a signed form from you accepting that you are going to take those payments. You didn't realize that that was what you're signing for, but hey, you never read the terms and conditions. Whose fault is that? And again, I've just put up there $149 per tube, and we'll charge your credit card. This one was quite nice. It was only every 60 days. And they'll pre-authorize $189 on your account, and you're authorized to do that. And yeah, and that's genuine. That comes straight off their website. So guys, when you're buying something, do me a favor, read the terms and conditions. Okay, I think it gets the slide here, but... Okay, so one of the things in scams is what happens when you run out of money? When you actually say, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. At that point in time, things get really nasty, or can get really nasty, really quickly. I had a 38-year-old client who invested $100,000 with a bunch of fraudsters down south. We pulled a scam on them to get some of our money out. We asked for half of the money back because we had another investment that we had to go into, and that we'd return the money as soon as we had, within 2 weeks. And they actually decided to let us have $50,000 back, which was quite nice. But of that, as soon as they realized that we weren't going to put in the money back into them, she received videos of people being murdered. She received a whole bunch of photos of people staring down cameras with guns pointed at them. The whole works. So it can get really, really nasty. They'll try and get you to take money from your mortgage. They'll try and get you to take money from friends, family, whatever it takes in order to do that. And then they might use you as a conduit at the end of that. So they might turn around and say to you, you know what, we know you've got no money. We don't want to be hard to you. But what will happen is you'll receive a bank transfer in 2 weeks' time for $200,000. You keep $20,000 and you move $180,000 onto this account. Or you put this $180,000 into Bitcoin. And that way what they're doing is they are then using the next victim along the line to pay money into your bank account, so that when you try and sue the bank for the bank not doing KYC, the bank's clear, they've got all the documents of you, and you're the one who will then be, that people will then go after. Okay, so I'm just going to go back a little bit to when we talked about pig butchery. So this, what we did earlier with the amount of money going backwards and forwards, is exactly how pig butchering works. Okay, unfortunately I didn't have your attention for 3 months in order to show you how it works properly, and we could only do it in a really silly way of a very quick in and out transaction. I'm obviously not going to give him $200 now. I'm walking away with the money. He's out of pocket $40. Hey, it's his fault for being greedy. But this is how it happens. So the initial contact is, I've got this great investment. Do me a favor. What's a good number for you to invest? $500? That wouldn't affect you. That would be throwaway money. Yeah, let's say $500. In 6 weeks' time, I'll double that money for you. I take the $500, 6 weeks' time, I come back, true to my word, I give $1,000, just as we did earlier. You go, okay, that's nice. And I walk away. I don't ask you for anything, I just walk away. Comes another 3 or 4 weeks' time, I get hold of you again and I say, hey, do me a favor. I've got a new project. Why don't you put $1,000 in this time, or $2,000? You look at it and you say, oh, I made $500 last time. Yeah, I'm not going to be out of pocket that much. I'll put $2,000 in. 6 weeks later, true to my word, I come and give you $2,000. Okay, now walk away. I might do that with another one. Maybe this time we talk you into $10,000. End of a month, 6 weeks, I give you another $10,000. I give you $10,000 back plus $10,000 profit. By now you're telling all of your friends, shh, this is an absolute bonus, boys. This is the way we make money. This is guaranteed. This guy's come through every single time for me. And every time I'm worried as hell that it's not going to be paid. And 6 weeks later, bingo, it's paid. Then I come up here and I say, I've got a new one, but I've got a bit of a problem. We've got to invest $10 million. And they've told me I cannot have more than 100 investors. It's going to be $100,000 for you to get on this. But we've been guaranteed that we're going to double our money. This time it's going to be in 5 weeks. It's an absolutely sure thing. It's this product that's come out and there'll be a whole spiel behind it. And they will say to you, that is how you get, how we're going to make your money. You look at it and you go, hey, Joe, are you going to get 100,000? Because I'm definitely putting 100,000 in. And Sue, are you going to put 100,000 in? And Joan over there, can you put 100,000 in as well? You've just become my best salesman. I take from you $1 million, from you and 10 of your friends. And then I disappear. That's why it's called pig butchering, because what's happened is I've fattened you up in small amounts and then slaughtered you once I've got your trust. And that is the way these work. They normally work in communities. So if you're a church-going member, it might be somebody from your church. It might be somebody from your bridge club. It might be somebody from one of the circles that you deal in. And one of the reasons why it's that is that people need to have your trust. And once they've got your trust, they can then work through with you and say, okay, I'm not going to hit you for a large amount. If you think this doesn't happen a lot, last year in the US alone, I think the quoted figure is $36 billion in pig butchering. No. Okay, so pyramid fraud is very different. Pyramid fraud is one where you're constantly on the lookout for new investors to pay the old investors. So what happens is I go and I say, okay, there used to be a thing when I was at university 100 years ago, which you had to get 3 people involved, and each of you put $20 in, and they worked out calculated that you got $10 of it, and the person above you got 5, and the person above you got 2, and the person above you got 1. And if you entered into this, you'd eventually end up making like $20,000 for $10 investment. It was wonderful. Except that when you did the maths, it only took like 5 levels before the entire planet population had to be involved in this. So that is your typical pyramid scheme, because what you're doing is you're constantly getting new investors to pay off old investors. The trick behind pig butchering is what I'm doing is I'm building you up, I'm fattening you up on promise of future payments in order to then hit you hard. The first people into a pyramid scheme are the ones that get paid out. So if you ever look at Bernie Madoff down in the States, there are some people who made hundreds and literally hundreds of millions of dollars from that. But all the people at the end were the people who went bankrupt. So yeah, there's a few videos if anybody wants to go onto their computers and have a look.
I'll send a link out.
Okay. But the last one there is particularly scary. It's a video that was made by a guy who was caught. So what happened is the fraudster got hold of him and he said, listen, you know, you've got to put $10,000 with us now for whatever reason. And he said, look, if I give you this money, I need it back in 2 weeks, otherwise I won't be able to buy medicine for my mother and she will die. And the fraudster went, you know what, no problem, you'll definitely get your money back. This is how callous these people are, that it doesn't even matter if they kill you, or somebody that you care about. Okay, has anybody got any questions? Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm careful and I'm suspicious. The other day I got an email.
Need the mic.
Said the cell number was changed. So without thinking, I changed the cell number. And in the process, I was suspicious because I thought, why was I notified this way? So I double checked. The cell number was okay. The person who sent it was okay, but it was from 2019. How would I get an email from 2019 that had been apparently sent, but I didn't look at the date on the email? So it's bothersome that we really have to check every little thing.
Okay, so basically what we're talking about here is an email was sent with a change of phone number, but the email was sent from a legitimate address, or what looked like a legitimate address, but was 4 years or 5 years after it should have been sent. Okay, so one of the things you have to know is that email was never intended to be a secure method of communication at all. In fact, I can send you an email from anybody you want at any point in time. I can send an email from yourself if you want to talk to yourself, if you want to have a good conversation with you. Or alternatively, I can send it from God if you want. It doesn't really matter. It is not a secure method of communication. So whenever you get anything which is critical in an email, change your phone number, change your bank account, send me money, whatever it happens to be, do yourself a favor, pick up that old-fashioned thing called a phone and dial and talk to the person that you know to find out whether that was actually genuine. I do not have to change my email address to something different. I don't have to make it Dave Oswald instead of Dave Oswald. I can just use the exact same email address, and I can send you an email from whoever I want. I can also phone you from whatever number I want. And here's the scary part. If I phone you from my phone number, so the last 4 digits of my phone number are 1510, I can program into anybody's phone that they will phone from a number ending in 1510. When it comes up on your phone, it will come up, if you've got me saved as a contact, it won't show the number, it will show Dave Oswald. And that is part of the first, when we talk about convincers, that is the first convincer. The convincer that this is a number that you've received, this is the number that you're taking that has come in, and it's from somebody I know. So even if I sound slightly different, hey John, why are you sounding so like you got a South African accent? Oh, well, you know, it's just I've got this bit of a cold. It's as simple as that. But because you've got the convincer that it's your friend's number that's come up on your screen, I can get away with it. There are also programs that I can use to make my voice American, by the way. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
There's a scam going around right now for Visa, and I don't have one, but they keep calling me and asking me to press 1 to speak to someone. Don't press 1, don't press anything, just hang up. And another thing with the Land Registry Office, the government has made the staff less than half, and it's all done electronically now. And it's one of the worst things that could happen, because as someone who worked there for 34 years, we had to look at every signature, we had to look at past signatures. When we signed your deed as being a good deed, you knew that you were okay. The fraud back a few years, a lot of years ago, was far less because it was done by people. Electronic is not good, and you can check, you can do a search on your property at any time. It does cost probably about 20 bucks or 30 bucks by now, but you can do a search on your property as well.
Yeah, now unfortunately computers have their good side and they have their bad side, and you know, it's a lot quicker and a lot cheaper to do it with a computer, but it also comes with risks. Yes, ma'am.
What about the charities that call you at home? I know I've had a couple lately from MAD, and originally I was ready to sort of give the money, but then all of a sudden you started pressing, you have to do it now, and I kept saying, you need to call back because I'm busy. And he was very adamant, so I ended up hanging up. But then I got a call back a couple weeks later, again from MAD, so I didn't even listen to it. But I know the police often call. So if you get charities that are legitimate, how can you differentiate?
Okay, so if you get a call saying we're from Mothers Against Drink and Driving, and we need your money, that's great, but don't give it to them over the phone. Get hold of MAD, go onto their website, there's a donation portal on their website. If you phone them up, they will take your credit card information over the phone, and you can make a payment that way. They'll send you bank account details, and you can do an EFT to them. Never ever give out somebody money over the phone. Rather give it to the actual organization.
And to your point, that's the first thing, how did you get my number? I mean, I have an enlisted number for that reason.
But similarly, you ask the question, how did you get my number? And when they get aggressive or assertive or whatever, then you know something is not right. Same thing with those contests you were talking about from Florida. They stopped calling me. But years ago, you could hear all the ka-ching in the background, all the background noises sounding like a cruise ship, and you kind of, that's the convincing side to say you've won something. In addition, there's a 3-day cruise trip and it sounds all glorious. And I said, so where did I enter this contest? Click.
Yeah, Yeah, no, you're quite right there. I mean, and this is the biggest thing. You'll never win a contest that you don't enter.
Two questions. Sometimes when my computer has security, but sometimes when I open a website, the website's frozen and it looks suspicious to me, so I'll get out and go back in and then I get a working website. The other one is, if you get an email, if you simply just open it, does that make you susceptible, or do you have to hit something inside the email?
Okay, so let me answer the second part of your question first, because that's probably the easier part. When you open an email, nothing can happen. Okay, that's the first thing. So when you just simply click on an email and say open it, it's not going to infect your computer. What there will be is there will often be a link within the email. So it will be your credit card has been compromised, click on here, bmofrauddepartment.com. And when you hover over that, it will say abc.ru, which is Russia, and it will give you a whole lot of other things. If you do click on it, it will actually take you to what looks like a BMO website, because what they've done is they've scraped it. So when you put in your information, your login information, your computer will suddenly refresh, you'll get a new screen, and it will ask you to put in your login information again. If that happens, you know you've been compromised. So immediately then go about changing your passwords and for your banking and stuff like that. I cannot stress to you enough how important two-factor authentication is. Have two-factor authentication on every one of your accounts. It is the best and simplest way of stopping fraud. Passwords do not work. We share passwords the whole time. If you go to a site called Have I Been Pwned, P-O-W-N-E-D, you will be able to see whether your email address and passwords have been taken in one of the hacks. And you will then know that somebody is selling that information on the dark web. If you do not have two-factor authentication, if you're using that password, as we all do, on multiple accounts, they will be able to get into those other accounts. P-O-W-N-E, Pwned, P-O-W-N-E-D.
Okay, just in the interest of time, one more pressing question.
What is the best way to convince someone who is being scammed that they're being scammed? I have a friend, you were absolutely right about South Africa. His fake girlfriend is in South Africa right now. But also, exactly as you said, I was in the bank listening to a lady yelling at the bank people because they would not transfer money to this other party so she could get her $1,000 commission and whatever. And they refused to do it, but she was not buying it, and my friend is still talking to the girl in South Africa. So I just wondered, convincing them, well, what do you say to people?
That really is the million-dollar question. Good starting point. No, look, it is really, really difficult, and it's one of those things that you've just got to rally as many people that you know around the person, people that the person trusts, his friend group. You've got to talk to all the friend group, raise your concerns with the friend group, and get people on your side to then talk to the individual and say, listen, this is what's happening. I'm a professional in this field, and I'm talking to this lady who's given $2 million away in fraud, and she will not even believe me. And it is the most soul-destroying thing that you can see is watching one of your friends go down, or one of your clients go down this route. It really is soul-destroying, but the only way that you can get through to these people is by getting as many people to talk to them as possible. getting them to come and talk to a thing like this, or getting them to even phone me. I will take their call and go through what they're actually going through. Because it is that sad when these people get stolen from and get ripped off. And it's very, very difficult. Okay, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so very much, Dave. It was incredibly enlightening. Where's my clicker here? Scary at the same time. Have you got something good to say? It's not going to scare us that we're going to go home on a happy note? Not that it wasn't good, but I mean, you know what I mean.
The good part is that fraud, while it is very prevalent, does not happen to everyone all the time. The thing is that what you've got to do is just got to you've got to be like Ronald Reagan. Trust but verify.
Thanks again. So this session is being videotaped. It'll be available on the website in a week or so. And also I will send out the video recording. I'll send out the slide deck and the links that were in that slide and any other pertinent information, so you have that on hand, as are all the other past sessions. Just once again, thanks to all of our educational partners for standing up beside us today. We're all here and we're available to speak with if you have any questions for us. Next session is, we're always the second Wednesday of the month in this location, 1:30 to 3. So the session next month is on Women and Wealth by one of our educational partners, Mila White. So please do register if you plan to attend. Please do fill out your evaluation forms. They're very valuable for us. And once again, thank you so very much for coming today.